Hey, welcome back to another great YouTube video here. Chris with RC Worst & Company. Today we're going to be showing you a cool tip for your UV system or water filtration system at home if you've got these blue type canisters or canisters similar to these. What we're going to be showing you today is how to install a petcock valve down here that's going to allow you to easily drain out your filters so that when it comes to changing those filters, they're a lot lighter, easier to work with, especially for folks that do their own maintenance. Anything you can do to make things a little bit easier is going to be fantastic. So a couple of things to remember before we go out in the shop and get started with actually showing you how to install this thing is, I would recommend that once your filters are snug and you know that that's roughly where the front of your canister is, you can actually take note, maybe make a mark or something if you want to, if it's important to you to have the valve facing kind of perfectly to the front like what we've got shown here. Otherwise your valve is probably going to end up cattywampus off to one side or another, and again, that's not critical. So let's go ahead and get out into the shop and we'll show you what all it's going to take to get this installation done. Okay, so here we are. We've got our filter sump, or UV sump in this case, strapped up in our vise here, and we're just going to use a few tools to make this happen. So we've got our petcock or valve standing by. We've got a appropriately sized tap and appropriately sized drill bit for the 3/8 threads that we have on the valve here. So just to make things easy, I've got a smaller drill bit to do just a pilot hole so that I can be a little more accurate. The bottom of this is kind of a little bit uneven, and so I just wanted to use a smaller bit. And then I'm not going to put it dead center. I have seen people put it dead center, but on the inside of this thing, and let's just take a quick look, there's basically a tit that sticks up that the filter slides over, and I don't really want to affect that in any way, and I think that it would drain better if we do it on the outside of that, because that's where the majority of your water is. So I'm just going to select an area that looks good to drill and just start drilling, trying to take note of the spacing that I'm going to need. I'm just going to start right here. Swap out our bits. See if I can do this without breaking my arm. As you can see, this vise isn't bolted to the floor anymore. We're good and straight, looks like it. Okay, I'm not going to ream that out much. Clean this hole up a little bit. Now the important thing, and the big problem that we've run into in the past with these is once you get this thing threaded in here, if you over tighten it, and that's the big risk doing this, is it has the potential with time to cause cracks in the housing, which is going to cause a leak or potentially a catastrophic failure. So it is critical not to over tighten it. So let's get our tap going here. Okay, looks like we got some threads there. And a good little test fit. I'm going to clean that up with my razor knife just a little bit, so be right back. Okay, so we threw a little Teflon on our valve here. We'll just start threading her in. And this really, 9 out of 10 situations, you won't need to go more than hand tight because it's not going to drip, and you're going to really alleviate your risk of over tightening this thing. So I would basically only tighten it sufficiently tight, get the system pressurized up. If it's dripping a little bit, just come over here and turn it just a little bit. If it's a little difficult to do by hand, you can grab a wrench and turn on it, but I would be really cautious. Again, I just can't emphasize that enough. You don't want your basement flooded just because you've put a ball valve on your sump basin. And so that's all there is to it. Now it makes it really easy to drain the water out of this for changing your filters. It makes it a lot less heavy when you're pulling the filter off of the wall or servicing the UV system, you can just drain that right into a bucket, takes the weight right off of it, and it's just so much easier to service. You can also use this as a pressure relief because these sumps can be terribly difficult to get off, and if you owned them, you probably know that if you ever tried to take it off with the water pressure on, it's almost impossible to turn it. Now obviously you need to turn the water off or you're going to have an even bigger mess, but this is a good option for relieving that pressure rather than having to walk into the other room and open the faucet in the kitchen or something like that. So that's a really good option. All right, so that's our video today. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content like this. Don't forget to leave the comments or questions below, and we will catch you next time.